What would you do if the person sleeping next to you was actively planning for your death? I don't mean in a fit of rage. I mean calmly, methodically, like they were arranging a business merger. The night everything broke was a Tuesday. The only light in our bedroom was the cold, blue glow of my wife's Jenna's phone screen as it illuminated her face at 2 a.m. I saw the name on the notification before she swiped it away. Mark, life insurance docs. My heart didn't just drop, it vaporized. She wasn't just cheating, she was upgrading. For that to happen, I had to be gone. She thought I was asleep, but in that moment, I had never been more awake in my entire life. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Jenna was my world. We built a life in a Chicago brownstone just off Lincoln Park, the kind of place with old trees and quiet streets. I thought our foundation was solid granite. It turns out it was sand. The signs were there, hiding in plain sight. The late nights, she claimed, were client dinners on Rush Street, a sudden obsession with a new, expensive perfume that smelled nothing like the vanilla scent I always loved on her. The way she started locking her phone, angling the screen away from me with a casualness that felt rehearsed, she became cold, a stranger in my bed. When I'd try to talk, to bridge the growing canyon between us, her words were manipulative scalpels. "Don't be so insecure, honey," she'd say, her voice dripping with false concern. "You know my job is demanding. Are you questioning my commitment?" She made me feel small, foolish, paranoid. The villains always feel untouchable when they think they have you wrapped around their finger. The emotional breakdown happened in a parking garage. I'd followed a hunch, a sick feeling in my gut that led me to a boutique hotel on the near north side. I saw her car. Then I saw his smug, black BMW I recognized from her office's team photos. I didn't go in. I just sat in my car, the city lights blurring through my tears, the engine silent. The sound in my head was a roar. The humiliation was a physical weight, crushing my chest, making it impossible to breathe. I wasn't just a husband, I was an obstacle, a problem to be managed and eventually removed. That night, something inside me didn't just break, it hardened. The loyal, loving husband died in that driver's seat. A cold, strategic man was born. My revenge began not with a bang, but with a whisper. I started gathering proof with a chilling sense of purpose. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who operated out of a dusty office in the Loop. He was worth every penny, gave me photos Jenna and Mark kissing in a booth at a dimly lit bar, their hands intertwined across the table. He gave me hotel receipts, dates, times. I bought a voice-activated recorder and left it under the passenger seat of her car. The recordings were brutal. I listened to them talk about me, my predictability, my boring life, their future together, funded by my life insurance policy. "He's getting a physical next month," Jenna's voice, my wife's voice, said on one recording. I told him to mention the chest pains he's been having. The doctor will order a stress test. With his family history, it's plausible. They weren't just waiting for me to die. They were trying to nudge it along. With the evidence secured in a bank deposit box, I set the traps. The first was legal. I met with the sharpest divorce attorney in Chicago, a woman who looked at my evidence with a grim, satisfied smile. We quietly restructured all my assets, moving them into a series of trusts that my wife's name was nowhere near. My half of our shared accounts was drained and relocated. The brownstone we lived in? I discovered my father had structured the down payment in a way that gave me sole ownership in the event of a divorce. She never read the fine print. The second trap was social. Jenna was climbing the ladder at her firm and was a finalist for a major promotion. She was also the treasurer for a prominent local charity, a role she used to network with the city's elite. I had the pie get me the contact information for every board member of that charity and every senior partner at her firm. The final trap was the cruelest. I went to my doctor, a man I'd seen for 15 years, and told him everything. I showed him a portion of the evidence. He was horrified. He agreed to help. After my physical, he called Jenna personally.
"Oh,
"I'm so sorry to tell you this," he said, his voice a perfect blend of professional sorrow. The tests revealed a severe, inoperable cardiac condition. He has at most 6 months. The news transformed Jenna. She became the doting wife. A flawless imitation of the woman I married. I'd make my favorite meals, ask about my day, my hand as we watched TV. She'd talk about my funeral, her voice catching with fake tears. I want it to be perfect, she'd say. A celebration of your life. She was planning a party on my grave. All the while, I played the part of the dying man, letting her believe her plan was working. The public exposure was set for the annual charity gala, the biggest night of her social calendar. She was set to give a speech. As she stood at the podium, basking in the applause, my attorney, on my signal, served her with divorce papers right there, in front of everyone. Simultaneously, an email landed in the inboxes of her entire company and the charity's board. Subject line: regarding Jenna's commitment. It contained the photos, the hotel receipts, and a transcript of the recording where she discussed my impending plausible death. Her world didn't just crumble, it detonated. I watched from the back of the ballroom as her face went from triumph to confusion to sheer, unadulterated horror. The whispers started, then grew into a wave of shocked murmurs. Her boss was at her side in an instant, his face like thunder. She was escorted out. She was fired the next day. The charity pressed charges for embezzlement, a little surprise my pie had uncovered. Mark, the affair partner, was fired too, and his own wife left him. Jenna was left with nothing. No job, no friends, no money, and a mountain of legal bills. She was completely, utterly ruined. I saw her one last time, across the street from the Cook County Courthouse. She looked hollowed out, a ghost in a cheap coat. Our eyes met for a second. There was no anger in hers, just a vast, empty blackness. I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no pity, just quiet. The revenge was a fire that had burned everything to ash, and now all that was left was the cold. I sold the brownstone and moved out of Chicago, sometimes late at night. I think about that parking garage, about the man I used to be. He's the one she truly killed. The end.